Hi, well, welcome to Diamond Delight Edibles. It's me, Liz, and welcome back, guys. For the guys rejoining me, so happy to be back and so thrilled to be making videos for you again. So to get us started on our new ventures here, I thought I would show you how to make tincture and butter with shatter or concentrate. You can do it with any concentrate or distillates. The technique is exactly the same, regardless if you use shatter, resin, butters. If it's a concentrate, this will work. Some may take longer than others, but I said the process is the same, and the same thing with distillates. They're actually a lot easier because they're already liquid, so they're really easy to do. But I said techniques are exactly the same. So let's jump right into what we need, and let's get started. All right, so what we're going to need to make our shatter, butter, and tincture is you're going to need your shatter, of course. You want to use a grain alcohol, so it's around 93-95% alcohol. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get. You want to get as high as alcohol percentage as possible. And the reason is because you don't want to have a lot of water when you're making your can of sugar and things from your tincture. So it has to do with the water. So you definitely want to try to get the 93, 95, 90, anything higher is even better. So it's a grain alcohol that you want to look for. We're going to use butter. You could use salted or unsalted. So I'm just going to be using about a half a cup. And we're going to use a little touch of guar gum, or you can use a little bit of lecithin. Those are both optional. You do not need to use them. And then the equipment that we're going to need: measuring cup, a double boiler for the butter, a jar for our tincture with a lid that seals well, and a hand blender or immersion stick, whatever. And as always, you know I forget one or two things, but I'll let you know as we go along the way. All right, so let me jump into getting these made. First, we're going to start with the tincture. Actually, reverse that. We're going to start with the butter, and then we're going to the tincture. All right, so let's get started. All right, so you're going to get your butter, and if it's cold, you're going to cut it up into cubes. Just helps it melt quicker. So what I'm doing is I'm clarifying the butter first. And you can do this with shatter, with any concentrate or any distillate. This technique will work for any of those across the board. Distillates will work a lot quicker because it's already in liquid form, whereas your concentrates, we need to break that down. So they take a little bit longer, but as I said, the technique is exactly the same. So I'm just cutting my butter up into cubes so that it'll melt quicker, and I'm going to clarify my butter. And the reason I'm doing that is, one, to remove the milk products, all the milk product and impurities that are in the butter. We're going to cook that off, and then we're just going to have a nice pure butter oil. So I'm going to put my butter on medium-low heat, and we're going to stir it often. And I'll move the camera over so you can actually see the process for clarifying your butter. And yeah, it's not necessary. You don't have to do this step. Like I said, I just prefer it. The other reason I like to do it is working with clarified butter. It allows you to cook 100 degrees higher before your butter will burn. So it increases your burn point by 100 degrees. So that's a bonus when you're cooking. All right, so I'm going to move that camera over and we'll get started. All right, so I'm going to put my butter on to medium-low heat. And we're going to let that melt. As it's melting, we're just going to gently stir it. Help it along. So making your clarified butter process takes about a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour to do it. So you can see our butter is starting to bubble up here a little bit. So this is the milk products and the impurities in the butter that are being cooked up, brought up to the top. And as it heats up, it separates, and we can then remove that. And you definitely want to keep it on a medium-low to low heat. Do it slowly because it's very easy to burn your butter. And whatever you do, do not walk away. Because, yeah, I've done that a few times, and it wasn't pretty, let me tell you. And I said you want to give it a very gentle stir pretty regularly. Otherwise, the milk products sit on the bottom there and they can scorch to it. It's not a huge deal. But like I said, if you keep it going, it helps it not all stick. It'll just cook off. So as that foam and the butter starts to break apart, and you want to take your strainer and just start scooping some of that stuff off. Just throw it into a container. So I'm going to let that go there on the low heat, and while that's doing that, we'll start the tincture. You can hear the bubble boiling behind me there. All right, so for our tincture, now I have to say working with concentrates and distills is so much easier than making weed butter and tincture, because one, it's really, it's nice because you can dose a lot better, and you can use a lot less base product or as much as you want, and be able to more accurately know how much THC is in your products. All right, so for 1 gram of Shatter here, I'm going to do about a half a cup of tincture. Now again, I could use a cup. It's just going to obviously dilute it a little bit more. If you want it really, really strong, you can, I said, use kind of as much or as little alcohol as you want. So I'm going to pour that into the jar there. Take my little shatter. Try to open it. Now, if you are having a hard time getting it off of the parchment paper, if it's really ooey gooey and sticky, don't worry about it. You can just throw the whole thing in with the parchment paper, and once it all dissolves, you just remove the paper. So yeah, so I'm not going to attempt to try and scrape that off. So I'm just going to plunk that paper right in there. Make sure it's completely in. Get that well mixed in there, mix it around a bit. Now we're just going to pop the lid on. And we're just going to shake it around for a bit. We're going to let that sit for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll see when we're pretty much done. And it's so nice because you're not straining anything, and you could make up a quick tincture or a butter per recipe. So again, you don't have to make large batches. You can just make small ones as you need them. Totally up to you. So I'm just checking on my butter over here, and I'm there. So as you can see, as it's cooking longer, those milk solids and everything are cooking off, and we want to continue to cook this until it's pretty much clear like yellow. All right, so our butter's ready. Our clarified butter's ready. So I'm going to grab my strainer. Here it is, and we're just going to strain through our butter, and that'll trap most of the impurities here. See all the icky stuff in your butter? Look at all that. Ew. So now we are left with pure butter oil. So mine got a little dark, so it's a little closer to ghee, but it's okay as long as it's not burnt. You're good. So now we want to get our double boiler. All right, so now you want to get your double boiler, put some water in the bottom, throw it on top, take your butter. So I've got my butter in the top part of the double boiler here. So now I'm going to get my shatter. And again, if it's too stuck to the paper, don't worry about it, just throw it all in. So again, this is too gooey for me to try and to pick off, and I don't have one of the sticky things that you use, a special tool to get it off. So I'm just going to throw the paper right in there, and we're just going to mix that around. We're going to put on get our water boiling, and then turn it down to a low. We just want to keep it on a low heat there just to get it melted, and it'll dissolve into the butter. So I'm just going to put it on high quickly just to get it boiling, and then I'm going to drop it down to low. And then with your tincture, or with your, with your tincture, just mix it around. You can see it all dissolving. So I'm just gonna let that do its thing, and then we'll come back and we'll check on our butter. So my water just started boiling there, so I want to turn it down. I don't want it too hot. And we do that on the double boiler to prevent your butter from burning. Because otherwise the oils will just continue to heat and increase in heat. And regardless of how low you keep it, if you keep it straight on the burner, it will burn. So you just want to keep periodically stir it around and continue to work that shatter or any of your concentrates. Continue just to work it down and heat up, and it'll melt. Some will take longer than others. All right, so our shatter butter is ready, and here we go. Here's my piece of paper, and you can see it's all clear. So you just want to scrape off all the excess here of the butter. You don't want to waste anything. And that's it. That's at least now you can tell nicely that it's all gone. Your paper is totally clean. So now I'm going to let that cool down a bit, and then I'm going to take the immersion stick to it, give it a quick zzz, and that's it. We're done. We've got shatter butter, and our tincture is pretty much done as well. Rub my finger over, make sure it's all off, it's all dissolved, and there we go. As easy as that. And now you've got your shatter tincture. And with that, you can now make canna sugar. So if you're going to be adding lecithin or agaricum, like I said, this isn't going to do an emulsifying, it's just going to act as a stabilizer and help with the viscosity, as well as evenly more distribute. Make sure your THC is more evenly distributed through your butter. So with the agaricum, like literally, you need about just a pinch, less than about an eighth of a teaspoon. And if you're adding lecithin, probably about a teaspoon of lecithin to a half a cup of butter. So I just use the beater on it there till it lightens up a few shades. So I like to use a cake pop mold because they're exactly 1 tablespoon, so it makes it easy for cooking. So as I need things, if I need a 1/4 cup, boom, for them, ready to go. So I just gently pour them into here, into the cavities. And then I'm just going to set that off to the side until they firm up, and then I'll put them in the fridge. And then I like to keep my butter in the freezer, so that way I can keep it for quite a long time. So I'm going to set that off, and that's it. Let that set up, and it is good to go. Alright guys, so that's everything for me today. I hope you enjoyed that video on how to make shatter butter and shatter tincture. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate and let me know. I will do my best to try to get back to as many people as I can. And thanks again for joining me on Patreon here. I hope that we have a wonderful, long future ahead of us. And I said, I'm so glad to be back making I'm so glad to be back making videos for you guys. And I hope that you enjoy them as much as I enjoy making them for you. Thanks again for watching. You have an awesome rest of your day.